everyone, and welcome back to another video. In case you don't know me already, my name is Shell. That's my Instagram over there. And I am a cosplayer, in case you didn't guess that from the title of the video. Today I'm doing my first ever story time in which I am going to talk about the cosplay I wear that attracts the most weirdos. The funnest thing about this video to me is that the answer is not what you are thinking. Yeah, it's not that one. Before we start, I want to clarify that I do not think of these experiences I'm about to talk about as harassment. I have been harassed in cosplay. These are not those stories. I'll film those another time if you're interested in hearing them. Instead, what I have to talk to you about today is not harassment, but people just being really weird to one specific character. Now, don't get me wrong, I've done my fair share of cosplays that could be considered more scandalous. It's always Heather. But the character that overwhelmingly, in all of my years as a cosplayer, has gotten the most kind of creepy, unwanted attention is, drumroll please, Honey Lemon. Honey Lemon from Big Hero 6, the Disney movie from like a few years back. That is my cosplay that attracts the most weirdos. Obviously, I find this pretty confusing considering I've walked around conventions in nothing but a bathrobe, and that like didn't get me any unwanted attention, luckily. But Honey Lemon is covered from her neck to her like ankles. And she's a children's character? Like it's from a kid's movie? So you wouldn't think it'd be the one that gets the most creeped on, but it always is! So without further ado, let's get into it. Let me tell you all about the weird times I have been creeped on while dressed as Honey Lemon at conventions. Now, there are numerous stories because I've worn this cosplay probably at least to 4 different conventions, but there are 3 specific interactions I remember very vividly and very specifically, and they all happened at Anime Boston. Anime Boston, what's up with you and Honey Lemon? We get a bad rap. So, flashback to March 2016, I believe that's when it was. That was my first ever convention. Anime Boston 2016 was my first time ever cosplaying, ever going to any sort of like Comic-Con or anime convention, and I was having the time of my life because I was so unused to being surrounded by people who like were on the same level of nerd as I was. So seeing all these people who were so passionate about anime and games and movies and TV shows, so passionate enough that they would dress up as them and go somewhere to talk to other people about it, blew my mind. I was having a great time. The first interaction that I had that was kind of weird and off-putting and just not quite right happened sometime after noon, about like 1 p.m. on Saturday. So I was dressed as Honey Lemon, as we've established, and I was walking on the 3rd floor of the Heinz Convention Center. If you're getting off the escalators like from security, you go straight up to the 3rd floor and you go into the hallway. It's like the first room on the left where they usually have the gaming room. They have this whole carpeted area, and back, way back, there's actually a really good spot for photos. Heads up. But before that, they also have like little like carts for food, and sometimes they've had like little meetups there, like sometimes they've called that like a gathering spot. So that's where I was, little large room, people around, you know, not weird, and I was just walking, minding my business, and a guy stops me and asks for a photo. Cool, awesome. I'd already been asked for a couple photos and they made me feel really great because validation. So I stopped and he took a photo and he said thanks, and then he continued talking to me. And this was where it got weird. Because he started talking about Big Hero 6 and started asking about like why I wanted to cosplay Honey Lemon and why I liked the film. And it kind of felt like the conversation was him trying to assess like how nerdy I actually was, like that stupid gatekeeping thing that some like nerd guys do where they're like, oh, you're a fake geek girl. Sexism. I generally try not to stereotype. Like most people, I acknowledge that generalizations generally aren't true. generalizations generally. Yeah. But picture like a 30-year-old man who lives in his parents' basement and like just watches anime and is a huge nerd. Like picture that stereotype. This guy looked like that. This guy looked like exactly what you would probably imagine. Like he was, you know, a little overweight. He was wearing an anime shirt. He had like long kind of unkempt hair. And I shit you not, he was wearing a fedora. It was 2016 and he was wearing a fedora to an anime convention. And I think I kind of realized as he kept talking to me, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have gotten into this conversation. Because as he kept talking, I just felt more and more judged and like sexualized. I can't remember the specifics of what he said, but I just felt very, very uncomfortable. And eventually, like after a couple minutes, I was like, oh, nice talking to you, I gotta go meet my friend, bye. So I just made an excuse and I wandered off. And I brushed it off. I was like, okay, maybe he's just not very like social, or maybe we just didn't like get on the same like conversational link and I was just weirded out. I didn't feel unsafe. It wasn't a big deal. It was just a weird interaction. Later that day, I remembered this. So I had gone to the convention with some friends. It was my first ever convention, so obviously I wanted to kind of stick close to them because I didn't know what I was doing and I was in a new place, and you just generally shouldn't walk around like a huge place like that by yourself. So I was with two friends who decided they were going to go home. We had just finished watching a panel. It was maybe like 7 o'clock at night or so, and they decided they were gonna head home for the day and they were done. Cool. So I texted another friend who I'd seen earlier, and we'd hung out with her a little bit before, and she was in the game room, and I was like, I want to stay a little longer, can I come and meet you and hang out with you? And she was like, yeah, totally, find me on like the 3rd floor in the game room, like all that. And I went to go find my friend in the game room. Again, that same weird little carpet hallway thing. And this is like probably 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. Once again, in this weird little carpet hallway thing, just outside of the door to the game room actually. I could literally see in. I was about 5 feet from it. I get stopped. And this guy, this is literally the only reason why I'm even mentioning their appearances, is because it's just so ironic to me. I wouldn't have brought up their appearances and how it looked like a stereotypical like male nerd if it hadn't happened twice. The second guy that stopped me looked exactly like the first. Like anime shirt, more hair, like another freaking fedora. I can laugh about it now because looking back, it's so funny to me. But at the time I was definitely like, oh god. I'm a 17-year-old at an anime convention that I've never been to before with only a few friends here with me, and I was like sufficiently uncomfortable. Granted, you shouldn't like hit on anyone or make anyone uncomfortable regardless of their age, but please be aware that I was a minor in these situations. But basically same drill as the first guy. He stops me, asks for a photo, says thanks, and then starts a conversation. And there's the same vibe from the first guy where he's just kind of like, just weirding me out. I felt very like under the microscope. I felt very kind of sexualized. And one line that I specifically remember this man saying, and I'll always remember, is, oh yeah, I like Honey Lemon because she's so motherly. And I was just like, what? Like, where did that come from? Honey Lemon maybe has, what, 10 minutes of screen time? 20 throughout the whole film? Like, and she's motherly, she's like 20! Jesus Christ! I was just totally off-put by it because I was like, dude, I'm 17, I don't want you saying this crap to me, like, I feel like you're trying to put me in a box where you like want me to be this character, and I'm very uncomfortable with that. So once again, I was like, I gotta go meet my friend, cool talking to you, bye! And went off to the game room. Whereas before, I hadn't like told my friends I'd had the first interaction afterwards. This time I went to the game room, immediately found my friend, and immediately was like, dude, you're not gonna believe what this man just said to me. And once again, I want to emphasize, this is not harassment. This is not a story about harassment. I did not feel harassed. It was just so awkward and weird. Like, if you want to say like, oh, I love how like caring and kind this character is, but for some reason, specifically the phrase "she's so motherly" spoken to me at like 17 as a teenager, I was like, what the heck? So after that, you know, a few hours after that, I went home. It was all good. It was all fine. I still enjoyed the heck out of my day enough that I wanted to stick with it for however many years I've been doing it for now. And Anime Boston is my favorite convention. So these interactions were not weird enough to put me off of cosplaying at all. So next year, Anime Boston 2017, I returned as Honey Lemon. I went as Honey Lemon on Sunday. First year I just went Saturday, second year I went Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday was kind of like my chill day because Saturday I'd done the whole that thing, that one that I've talked about before, and it was a lot. That costume is a lot to wear. So Sunday I was like, I'm just gonna be Honey Lemon, I'm gonna be chill, like it's cool, like a lot of people were really nice to me when I wore this last year, so it's good. It's probably like 2, 3 o'clock on Sunday. I'm dressed as Honey Lemon. And so Honey Lemon does wear heels, canonically. She has these really big, like, pump heels, actually, like they're giant. And in case you don't know me already from, like, Instagram, I refuse to wear heels at a convention. I always bring a pair of ballet flats in my bag as backup because I refuse to walk around a convention in heels all the livelong day. I'm there to enjoy myself, not kill myself. So I did have a pair of heels in my backpack with me that I'd worn a bit on and off throughout the day, but at this point it was like 3 o'clock, I was kind of tired, I was almost ready to leave because it was Sunday and people were clearing out, and I was wearing my flats. So I went to this hallway to sit down. I was by myself again because these interactions only happen when I'm solo. That actually makes a lot of sense though, because I feel like people who are like weird and awkward aren't gonna be brave enough to approach you when you're with friends, so it makes sense that they approached me only when I was by myself, but regardless, I was by myself. I went down to sit on this bench, take a breather, text my dad. I am sitting and this person's sitting next to me. It's a pretty full bench, you know, we're all just minding our own business. I'm texting on my phone. And the guy turns and looks at me and he was like, oh, are you Honey Lemon from that Disney movie? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. Can I take your photo? And I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, sure, because it was a little odd to me because usually common etiquette with cosplayers is you typically don't ask for a photo if they're sitting down. It's just kind of, you know, considered more polite to wait until you see them elsewhere. But I was like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, it's fine. I thought I'd only be standing up for like 30 seconds. And the guy lowers his like phone camera and he's like, oh, doesn't she wear like heels like Honey Lemon? And I was like, yeah, I have them in my bag actually, I just didn't want to wear them all day. And I swear to God, this man who has already asked me for a photo when I'm by myself sitting on my phone, obviously doing other things, and he barely even knew the character, says, in response to me not wearing heels because I don't want to wear heels all day, oh, that's lame. No shit. At the time I was just like, really? But now looking back, I'm like, what gives you the right? Because I was in full cosplay, I'd been so all weekend. The day before I'd been dressed to the frickin' nines in a corset and tutu and all the things. And this person who wasn't even in cosplay, who once again was a man in an anime shirt, is like, oh, it's lame you're not wearing heels all day. And I'm like, now, looking back, I'm like, excuse you, sir. I am in a full outfit with makeup and accessories and everything, and I'm out here trying my best. You're not even putting an effort. You're wearing a Sword Art Online t-shirt. So, those are my top 3 kind of strangest, most uncomfortable, most irritating experiences dressed as Honey Lemon, the character no one expected to get the most attention from weirdos and creeps. Who knew? If you guys liked this storytime video, please go leave it a thumbs up and a comment so I know to make more of them. Feel free to suggest a topic either here or on my Instagram, which will be in the description. And thank you for watching. I have to laugh at these now, looking back, because, oh, I feel like if that happened to me now, I'd probably say something. I'd probably say, well, that's a little rude, but We'll have to see and find out. Maybe I'll wear Honey Lemon again just as a social experiment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.